Anyway, morning through. You block out either. Yes, no. Some didn't sleep well. Some did. Firstly, let me take this opportunity to thank Anthony and the team at PNG Energy and Resource. You know, if it wasn't for you to put your effort into this in your calendar, the audience that's sitting here wouldn't be in attendance. So thank you. Let's give a big clap to Anthony and the team. Prime Minister and Minister Duma and Kua and Ano say, you know, for you to attend this shows the very importance of why we need to continue to market PNG. That shows your commitment to the energy and resource sector in our country. So thank you, the government of the day, for attending, plus, you know, the people that I interact with, the other CEOs of the other resource industry that operate in PNG, together with the MDs and CEOs of state-owned enterprises. Thank you. There are others who supply goods and services to the various industries in PNG. Thanks for attending as well. I think there's a reason why we are all in attendance. Some are looking for businesses, okay? Others want opportunities to go and develop something up there. Others are already operating, which is good. If you're operating, continue to operate and operate safely. So that's, and also, you know, if it wasn't for the people who own this land, together with the Australian government, most of us Papua New Guineans wouldn't get on the plane and come down here. So thank you for that. Whilst I continue to do the introductory, let me just give an overview of Tedi. So, as I said, thank you, Anthony and the team, for giving Tedi an opportunity to present its own performance, where we are, what we do for Tedi. Tedi, I'm just a mouthpiece. I work at Tedi for the people of Papua New Guinea. Every money that is earned, everything that Tedi does it on behalf of the nation. So over the last few years, you know, in 2013, Tedi was going to close. We were going to shut the place and go. No, we revived it. Hence, it is what it is today, that we are a good resource operation that stands out to be performing very well. My talk today addresses what we have achieved and what we will achieve in the coming years, but through socially, economically sustainable way, so that we can make profits, give it to the shareholders, plus share it and give it to the host province that we operate in and the local communities. So let me give a quick overview of Tedi operations. No, green button or the green star. Okay, there you go. So Tedi is a very mature business, having commenced some 40 years ago. Tedi is a proud Papua New Guinean company, 100% owned. State owning 67%, and the host province owns 33%, which is owned by the mine villages, 9%, 12% by the provincial government, and then another 12% owned by the CMCA communities. CMCA communities are the people who live in the riverine system. Okay. The operating sites, let me start from Australia and go up. We've got a logistics hub in Brisbane and an office there, Moresby office, and then site offices in Tubbaville, the processing area and the mining area. Okay. And we've got a workforce that sits around about 2,700, and 98% of that are Papua New Guineans. Okay. And out of those 98%, 50% of our executive is nationals and 50% expats, predominantly Australians. Now, in a year, we move between 100 to 110 million tons of ore. We process between 20 to 24 million tons of ore that we move. So nearly 110 million tons of total movement. And then out of that, 24 million tons we process through the mill because it's a part of the ore that comes with it. We can go as far as 24, not beyond that because of capacity limits. But processing the ore depends on where we are in the ore bodies. In 2012-13, we replaced our mobile fleet. We used to run 789s, and then we upgraded to 793s. So 793s, they can carry between 204 to 220 ton on average. And if you look at the time we replaced it to where it is today, we are pretty much close to an overdue period. Hence, we're working with the OEMs to replace the fleet. Whilst that's aging, we've spent a lot of money in the processing plant. We've upgraded the grinding circuits, the flotations, done a lot of work in the electrics. We've replaced, a few years ago, we replaced the entire crushing system. We've got a new crusher now. And then further work's been happening around the processing plant together with the hydro plant upgrades. Now, interestingly, unlike other sites, we generate 80% of our hydro through power demand through our own hydro that we've got set up, which is very cheap for us, 6 cents per megawatt hour that we can generate 80% of our power requirements on. Now, the ore body is very complex, and it's not like the ore that used to be mined in BCL. BCL was easy to mine and process. Whereas Tedi, it's non-homogeneous, meaning that it requires a lot of blending to process it through. Depending on where you are in the pit, we've got to think about how the mill's going to process as well. So the plant is always constrained by the ore hardness or the impact of the type of ore that we will process. Not only that, but we've got sulfur issues together with fluorine issues that we've got to limit how much sulfur we put into the tails. Now, interestingly, what Tedi operates on a social license, and that social license is coming up in 2025 for review, which is called CMCA, Community Mine Continuation Agreement. If the landowners say yes, then we continue. If they say no, we don't continue. Interestingly, today we are talking about an Tedi that is owned by 100% Papua New Guineans. 67% owned by the government, 33% owned by the province. So everything that we do is we put a lot of considerable effort to minimize the impact into the river system. Now, out of those 20 to 24 million that we put through the mill, we get around about 100 to 110, around about the kilotons of copper metal, and 300 plus kilo ounces of gold annually, which is sold to countries in Japan, Philippines, India, Germany, and in recent times we've sent spot markets to spot sales to Australia as well. And yes, we do sell to China, but on a spot parcel basis. Now, out of those, we bring into the country more than $1 billion US. Okay? That money is not left outside of the country. That money that we generate comes into PNG. So when we talk about FX issues, Octedi is not the issue. And we declare a profit around about 200 million. This year, it's tracking very, very well. When I say very, very well, my government ministers, especially the minister that Octedi reports through, Minister Duma is here. There is certainty that you will get the remainder of your dividend this year. So, out of this, every year we tend to declare 450 to 550 million kina annually as government dividend or shareholder dividend. Okay, where we are in the OTML vision. So, if you attended last year's session or the previous year's session, you would see there is a difference in the vision. The vision sits on the left-hand side. The commentary sits on the right-hand side in the presentation. So as a first step, when we brought together the new board and the new MD CEO, we reviewed our previous vision as we felt it didn't create an aspirational picture for Octedi. The expectation from the shareholders and the trustee shareholder and the minister responsible plus the board was that Octedi's vision doesn't align or suit where Octedi needs to be. So we worked on that vision and we created a new one, it's been very cooperatively developed by the board together with the stakeholders. Again, as I said, it is focused on an aspirational in the sense that it describes the desired future state of Octedi. The new components of the vision has been created to align with where we operate, why we operate, where we live, and how we want Octedi to be set up for the future of Papua New Guinea. Hence, you can read from the slide, we operate with excellence, which is more operational, to maximize the value of the mineral resources that we have, but in an environmentally responsible way to deliver sustainable economic and social benefits to the communities we operate, which is our footprint, and the people of Papua New Guinea. So, Octedi is not about the Western Province people. Octedi is not about the mine villages. Octedi is about Papua New Guinea. Okay, the values, I personally believe in the foundation of any organization or any family or any grouping is around the values. Our values did not change despite us changing the vision. As we recognize that it represented who we are and where we were heading towards. So it rather realigned and enhanced the vision that we were implementing. However, as an organization, there were opportunities to focus on few of those values, which was more around integrity, accountability, and performance. That in our recent surveys that we did, cultural surveys that we did, those three were not well ingrained into the organization. So we focused on that, and we will continue to focus on that. In terms of where we operate, now I don't have a fancy photos like ExxonMobil or Santos put up, but we operate. Penyang going ahead is excellent for Western Province. We will partner together to develop Western Province. So that's my footprint from a regional host province. But my footprint goes to all the 21 provinces of Papua New Guinea. There's a reason why I say that, because 67% of the shares are owned by the national government. And so the benefit from Octedi goes to the 21 provinces. So Octedi operates with the agreement, as I said, CMCA, near the mine and along the Fly River. Tedi, we have a very strong track record of looking after our communities, whether it be in the riverine system or whether it be in the business spin-offs. Now, if you think about business spin-offs at Tedi, in very recent time, with the board's approval, we have been able to engage a local business to own and lease to Tedi a mining fleet. A mining fleet that is worth between 3 to 400 million kina. Not only that, but last year we gave another business function to another local entity, the Royalty Trust, Local Landowner Royalty Trust. All our logistics and transport, buses that cart people, fuel, and our cargo movement from Kionga up to Tabubil, and then empty containers back to the local landowner businesses as well. Okay? And again, that goes into, well over into 60 to 100 million kina annually. So our footprint, if you can see it, we go further downstream. I think Augustine, MRDC, MD will mention something about how we've helped the CMCA communities as well. Now, some of the recent, outsourcing that I've just mentioned, there are other subsidiaries that we operate as well. One in particular is the Tedi Development Trust Development Foundation. We've been able to assist Women and Children's Association through setting them up for businesses. In recent time, they signed accommodation units worth 9 million US for the next 10 years. That's giving back to the footprint. We've been able to improve business development and financial literacy to the communities. We've started vanilla with the local North-Fly region. We're working hand in hand with PNG SDP so that Western Province can light up. Rather than forgetting Western Province after Tedi closure, Western Province should be recognized for its benefit that are shared without greed to the rest of PNG. Now, another interesting piece that's happening within the province and across PNG is the OTML tax credit scheme, which we focused on a lot of infrastructure development. Now, credit goes to, and I want to thank Marve Rosso government for realizing the need to increase the accessible credits, okay, from 0.7% to 2%. Now, for all the developers that are sitting who are in the same boat as me, 2% is accessible, which means our priorities in your host provinces or in the country, we should put it back. Put it back to where you are harvesting gold, copper, oil, gas, put it back to where the provinces are. You may be doing it, but do more than that. So, out of this, the treasurer presented a slide yesterday about the village called Urabmin. That's through Tedi tax credit scheme. The Kionga-Tabubil Highway, if you've been that way, it's a 135-kilometer road, all gravel, all terrain road. We are sealing that. We're in the second phase now. Next 18 months, 2 years, we should be in Ningrum Station. If you're from Daru area or South Fly region, sitting here, we're doing the upgrade on Daru roads at the moment. That's been more talked about. Chinese wanted to come in. Australia said, no, let's do something. So Tabubil also with Talpomin Road is progressing very well. We starting the next year or so, we will start the Kionga Ayambak Road, Tabo will cover with Atemkit Road, Alice River to the border road. To the border, we will help the North Fly district set up the border post for customs purposes as well, and for trading. So, Western Province won't be forgotten. We will link to West Papua and we'll get service across from there. Not forgetting the law and justice sector as well. So, Octedi is doing its fair share. And, you know, as a local man and a proud Papua New Guinean, I can say that Octedi will continue to help where we need to help and align ourselves with the government. Some of the highlights, you know, which is from the, if you've read the 2022 annual report, it's straight out of that. So we strive to, continually improve our performance by focusing on fundamental safety, reliability, cost, and protecting our license to operate, whilst we honor what we get out of the ground. So, 300 million dividend we paid to the shareholders last year. As I said, 98% of our workforce is Papua New Guineans. 41%. Now, Minister Kua, let me tell you how much we've spent in terms of local content and where we sit. 41% goods procured and 81% service contractors are from within the country. However, currently, we sit at 60% of goods procured. And we've gone up, in terms of contract services, we've gone up to 92%. So Papua New Guinea is truly a company that we own, we look after, and we get rewarded out of it, or we get paid out of it, or we benefit out of it. That old shovel is close to retiring, I think. So there are a few board members in audience, so you can take heed. So since we started operating in 84, we've so far produced 5.17 million tons of copper metal, and the numbers keep adding up for the next 30 years. 15.9 million ounces of gold, and there is more gold to come. So if the government is talking about gold refinery, let's look into it, which I'll leave it for Kumul Minerals to take note of. 13 billion we paid as dividend. 515 million we've spent since TCS started, but we've got more to spend. In the next 5 years, we will spend over 500 million in TCS, tax credit scheme for Western Province and PNG. The current 2%, the good government of Marabe Rosso have said that 1% is for the host province, the other 1% will go to the rest of Papua New Guinea. So Western Province will be linked by road to Sundown Province, to Hela Province, to Southern Highlands Province, and to Gulf Province. That's part of Octedi's contribution to connect and missing link. Okay, so the pit shell, as it is, that's what we have put towards the Octedi board, and Octedi board approved that so that we can get additional 17 years from 2033 to 2050. Having said that, there is more gold and copper at Mount Pubilan. So this year, with a new board, with a new MD, we reset the business. So we we came up with this 3R: restore, reset, reinvigorate. Okay? And that so has changed the organizational structure, bit light on at the top, heavy at the bottom with all the doers. When you're at the top, you do little. And so we realigned, and out of this 3R program, we were able to extend the mine life with the eastward cutback. Comes with it, because it's a Tedi mine life extension, I just couldn't put my hands on my heart and say yes, simply because of the environment that I operate, which is in the headwaters of Tedi and Fly. So the board, to their wishful thinking, said yes, that we need to look at a tailings facility and a second engineered waste rock dam, which over the years we've tried to do a tailings facility, but we couldn't, simply because we were always incrementally increasing the mine life by 1 year, 2 years. That never gave us the room to look beyond the capacity that we had in Mount Pubilan. So having a longer life allowed us to look at how do we manage the environment. So, few years' time, somebody else comes and talks, and if you're in attendance in the audience, we would be talking about how we are going with our TSF construction or TSF management, and the engineered waste rock dam that we will have built. Also, the new executive leadership team, in the history of Tedi, we've got an even split between nationals and expatriates. And it's probably been 14, 15 years that we've had a first female that we brought on as well within the executive leadership team as well. Stakeholders, let me take this opportunity to thank the government, plus the local landowners, the board, other stakeholders that have helped to turn Tedi around. Tedi is a very, very good business for us. We've been able to look more into the ESG component, because for us to sell copper, it's becoming quite interesting, but it's becoming quite, not really hard, but you've got all these copper mark ESG requirements that we need to meet. Also, banks are starting to put up red flags saying that, where's your ESG credentials? Show us, and then we will give you the money. As I said, Minister Duma and it's very certain that the final dividend will be paid out this month. Okay, let me go on to the strategic project enablers. Just a quick one. You give me 3 minutes and I'll finish. Now, as I said, so to do all this expansion, what we are looking at doing at the moment, and which we are deep in conversations with mining equipment suppliers, is to go greener and do our way, eliminate the use of diesel fuel trucks. So if you are Hastings or Komatsu or XGMG in audience, we will talk to you. Some we've been talking to you. We will capture 400 million tons of feather waste. There's going to be a lot of money generated out of the tailings facilities. Not only that, but we will create more work opportunities for our people as well. we will look for, because we are doing a TSA, we will look for funding in that space. Accommodation, and I've got a slide for hydro. So my brother at NEA, there's a slide here for you that I want to share with you regarding power generation. So currently, Big A is where we are collecting all the tailings at the moment. It's regulated, and we've got a permit that's operating out of it. So that's our current Big A operation. Big A has been a standout, and papers have been written and presented at renowned conferences worldwide. So it's a very, very good way of us mitigating our tailings. This I've mentioned, the engineered waste rock dump. The next one is at the bottom that we will go. The blue one is the one that we are already doing. Tailings facility, we've identified few locations which we will do further work on. And thank you to the MRA, the Inspectorate Division, SEPA, Lands Department that we've started to engage so that we can put our tailings facility to capture all the tailings. Now, carbon footprint. Carbon footprint, we've started talking to the group that's already helping others in other provinces. There is a group that's already set up in East Civic. There's somewhere around in the May River region. We're talking to them so that we can convert the Lake Murray region, which we are revisiting for carbon capture. All these ESG initiatives will help us to go across the line with copper mark, and we can continue to sell copper, which we can continue to bring money into the country. Okay, power. Power, OTML electrification strategy is aligned to the rural electrification strategy, which came out of the IPEC in 2018. Most of us, the industrial partners, we've been a little bit slow, but that's where we're heading towards. 58 megawatts or 58 megawatts is what we generate currently out of our own hydro at the moment. We want to increase that, so there is work happening in that space. Thermal generation, we've got generators which we can switch between gas and diesel. With the diesel, we want to eliminate and then bring in the diesel component. So gas is where our next biggest opportunity is, where we will tap into either Stanley or PNG, whoever can come and develop the gas, and we can buy it off from them. But we want to get at least 20, 30 megawatts out of gas generation. And then solar, which we've started talking with SDP to generate solar as well. So any unused power, we can put it back into the main grid, which can supply Western Province, Sundown Province, and the other provinces as well. So that's power for power demand for Kedi. Moving forward, like any other organization, we look at our employees first, and then business partners, communities. We are big and heavy on ensuring our local businesses in the footprint that we operate progress, and they sustain over time. Not only that, the local content, we're big on local content and national content. If we're going directly to Australia or to Singapore, and if there is the same business that is set up in Port Moresby or Lae, Hagen, Goroka, we go there, they look after sourcing for us. So that's the future of Kedi going forward. So, in summary and in conclusion, we are very confident that Kedi will continue to perform very well, and we see Kedi has a very strong future. And we all together can make Kedi a success, but it's a success for the country. So, thank you for listening.